Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you, media, and thank you everyone else for coming today. We have a number of speakers that I'd first like to introduce. They will be coming up one by one and having their say, and then I will open up the floor to any questions once they're completed their presentations, to any questions that you may have. If you do have any questions, please approach the microphone here and identify yourself and then who you would like to direct your question to. Following the formal question and answer period, we will open up to one-on-one interviews, so you could find myself and I can help facilitate that. And also just to let you know, any specific questions about the projects that we are mentioning today, we do have our deputies here that are also available for one-on-one to answer those specific questions. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce the Aurora Oak Ridge's Richmond Hill MPP, the Honourable Michael Parsa.
Thank you very much, Constable Moskalek. Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here at York Region Headquarters. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the Chief of Police, Chief McSween, the Deputy Chiefs, and everyone at YRP for hosting us here this morning, and really for your dedication of protecting our communities in every corner of the Legion. Thank you so much, Chief McSween. But also acknowledge my colleagues, many of my colleagues who are here from Queen's Park representing various parts of York Region, Minister Stephen Lecce, Minister Michael Tobolo, MPP Laura Smith, MPP Don Gallagher-Murphy, MPP Logan Kanapathy, MPP Daisy Y, and of course, as you can see, we're joined here by Chief Emerson and the Chair of York Region, Emerson, and of course, we have Your Worship, Tom Arakis, and Steve Pellegrini here from King. Great to see all of you. On behalf of the Government of Ontario, it's my pleasure to announce funding of 3 initiatives with a total of $3.7 million to support York Regional Police to ensure the safety of all residents in our region. First, funds forfeited as proceeds of crime from criminal prosecution through Project United, with funding of $300,000 from the province, will aim to develop a prompt response towards the rise of hate crimes in our region, specialized training for officers, and increased community outreach. This initiative also includes conferences and educational resources provided to students in our region. And to help prevent repeat and violent offenders, Ontario is building by providing $2.4 million over the next 3 years through the Bail Compliance and Warrant Apprehension Grant to monitor and charge offenders who are not in compliance with their bail, centralizing bail intake cases from individual districts to high-risk offender unit for improvement, and communication of bail and warrant breaches to frontline officers, as well as to support the creation of a dashboard tool to Provincial bail management, which provides real-time data and allocates police resources efficiently. And finally, investing over $1 million in next-generation 911 to implement interactive mapping, auto callback and text back features, and a facility dedicated to dispatchers and call takers. YRP and York Region will continue to work in partnership to facilitate the transition to NG 911 and ensure an uninterrupted and seamless service delivery for all our residents. The funding of these initiatives highlights our government's, the province's, unwavering dedication to public safety to every single person living in our region. I want to conclude by thanking everybody that's here this morning. I want to thank the Chief once again, everyone at YRP for the great work that you do, all our elected officials, all our community partners who have to work together and will have to continue to work together for us to protect and keep our communities safe. Thank you so much, Chief McSween.
Thank you, MPP Parsa. I'd now like to invite Chair of York Regional Police Services Board and Chair Region Chairman and CEO, Wayne Emmerson.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Constable, and good morning, everyone. I'm Wayne Emmerson, the Chair of York Region and Chair of Police Services Board. Joining me today is from the York Regional Police Services Board is Madeline Bolstein and Mario Cotolucci, And from my regional council is Vice Chair of the Police Services Board, Mayor Pellegrini, Mayor Maracas from the town of Aurora, and then also we also have Lena Bajoni, the Chief of Staff, and I also have Dan Kuzmic, the Regional Solicitor, with us today. So on behalf of the Police Services Board and the Regional Municipality of York, I extend my deepest appreciation to Minister Parsa and the Government of Ontario for our ongoing commitment to the safety and well-being of our residents and communities. York Region is one of the most diverse and fastest growing communities in Ontario and Canada. We are home to more than 1.2 million people, and our population is expected to grow to over 2 million people in the next 30 years. We are home to the third largest municipal police force in the province and one of the largest in the country. York Region is one of the safest places to live in Canada, and we all want it to remain that way. Our officers and police leaders are highly respected across the service and throughout the communities, and are recognized as leading the police services around the world. Protecting our residents and making our communities safer and better is of the utmost importance to York Regional Police, York Regional Police Service Board, and York Regional Council. We recognize that serving the residents of this vast and diverse communities is a complex task, and York Regional Council and the Police Services Board recognize the importance of investing in the right tools, training, infrastructure, and to keep our communities safe. We know providing our police services with the tools required to do their jobs more effectively is critical to ensuring the safety of the citizens of York Region and the safety of our officers. But this cannot be achieved alone. The collaboration between York Regional Police, York Regional Council, and the Government of Ontario continues to deliver results for the people of York Region. Through this significant provincial investment, York Regional Police will continue to be a leader in community safety and well-being. And together we will continue to ensure that York Region remains among the safest communities in Canada. So on behalf of York Regional Police Services Board, Regional Municipality of York, I again thank the Government of Ontario for your continued support in providing the York Regional Police with the resources to safeguard our growing communities today and many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Emerson. I'd now like to invite York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween to the microphone.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Special thanks to the provincial and regional dignitaries for joining us here today as well, including our two previous speakers, the Honourable Michael Parsa, who is joined by several, as you've heard, MPPs here today, and our Chairman and CEO of the Regional Municipality of York and the Chair of our Police Services Board, Chair Wayne Emmerson, who you just heard from. I also have York Regional Police Deputy Chief of Investigations, Alvaro Almeida, here today, as well as our Deputy Chief in charge of our support branch, Kevin McCloskey, as well, and members of York Regional Police who are subject matter experts working in the areas that will benefit from the province's generous grant funding announcement. York Regional Police is pleased that seized cash and proceeds of crime are being reinvested back into the community in ways that will enhance community safety here in the York Region. We're grateful for these funds that will be used to tackle several important initiatives in 3 areas, all aimed at improving public safety in all of our communities. Here are some of the details of how York Regional Police will allocate this funding. $300,000 over 3 years has been earmarked for Project United, a targeted response to the growing issues of hate crime in our community. We've seen a disturbing rise in crimes motivated by bias and prejudice since 2018, with a 42% increase in 2022 and a smaller but still significant 6.5% increase in 2023. However, since the war in the Middle East began in October of 2023, that number of hate or bias incidents have risen by 104.5%. That should be truly alarming to everyone. Project United will employ a multifaceted approach to combat this disturbing trend, including specialized training for officers and increased community outreach, as well as educational resources for students across York Region, such as conferences and forums. We will increase our community engagement with online monitoring and enhance our community partnerships to further educate the public on recognizing and reporting these types of incidents, which we know are typically unreported. Monthly meetings with community partners will inform specialized training for frontline officers and community members. We'll continue our community inclusion efforts, such as the annual International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, which draws more than 1,000 people each year, and the York Regional Police Annual Hate Crime Conference, which provides education and training on hate crimes to more than 150 officers from across Canada on an annual basis. By focusing on proactive, preventative strategies, Project United is aimed at building trust and understanding within our community, enhancing existing relationships with community partners and school administrators to champion the values of inclusion, diversity, and respect, and providing our officers with the specialized training they need to recognize and investigate hate crimes while further educating our community. Funding of $2.4 million has been allocated to assist York Regional Police in two areas: the Bail Compliance and Warrant Apprehension Program and the Enhanced Bail Enforcement Project. This funding will help augment our dedicated warrant apprehension and community supervision enforcement team. This team manages offenders on bail, community supervision, or those with outstanding warrants. As the name suggests, this team will be responsible for improving public safety by investigating the whereabouts of violent offenders that are wanted on warrants, and for the management of offenders released into the community on probation, provincial parole, and conditional supervision orders. These officers will become subject matter experts in locating absconded offenders and will act as central points of contact for our partners at the Richmond Hill, Newmarket, and Keswick probation and parole offices. This funding will also support our Enhanced Bail Enforcement Project. The Enhanced Bail Enforcement Project will centralize bail intake across all of York Region. Release orders and variances issued by the Ontario and Superior Courts of Justice in Newmarket, as well as those from the courts in Toronto, will come to our Enhanced Bail Enforcement team for triage, data entry, and dissemination to other members of the organization through an in-house bail compliance dashboard. Offenders on bail will be closely monitored without being disproportionately targeted. Upon release, offenders will be continuously checked to ensure that any variances are up to date and complied with, then purged when offenders are no longer on bail. In addition, bail compliance efforts and outcomes will be captured for data analysis and performance measurement, providing real-time data to inform our bail management approach. This will result in improved public safety by allocating police resources more efficiently, supporting the court process, and by holding offenders accountable. And finally, $1 million will go to support the implementation of the Next Generation 911, or as everyone knows it, the NG 911 project. The Canadian Radio and Television Telecommunications Commission, or the CRTC, has mandated that all existing 911 systems must eventually transition to NG 911 by 2025. This must be done while ensuring seamless and uninterrupted service delivery. The current 911 system, while still resilient and reliable, will eventually reach its end of life and will no longer be able to keep up with the evolving technologies and agency caller expectations. YRP has been working in close partnership with the Region of York, and in the fall of 2022, a 5-year, $1.5 million contract was awarded to Solacom, a subsidiary of Comtech Telecommunications Corp. As we know, telecommunications networks have evolved significantly over the years. Modernizing these networks will result in new voice, text, and multimedia services, including the capability to send and receive text, video, and photos. The NG 911 system will also include interactive mapping, automatic call, and text back features, as well as a standalone facility for dispatchers and call takers. The new system is also designed to ensure there is no single point of failure. NG 911 will incorporate all these features into new internet-based 911 systems that will improve communications with callers, support the new technologies, and better deliver emergency response services to all of our communities. So once again, our sincere thanks to the province for its commitment to community safety across Ontario. York Regional Police will continue to advance these important initiatives, aided by this additional funding. Our collective commitment to community safety and inclusivity remains steadfast here in York Region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. I'm now going to open up the floor to any questions. Again, if you do have any questions, please just approach the microphone, or if you'd like to do that from your camera, identify yourself and who you're directing the questions to. And as we've mentioned, we do have our subject matter experts here, Deputy Chief McCloskey and Deputy Chief Almeida, who will be able to answer more specific questions about the projects. So if you'd like to.
It's the $300,000 proportion that I mentioned to you, and it is from the province of Ontario being allocated to the York region for them to the $300,000. $300,000.
Okay. Secondly, who determines the allocation, the percentage? The Project United gets 300,000, bail compliance gets 2.4. Who decides that? The province, as this is a grant from the province, or is it York Regional Police that decides where the money is best used?
I think I'm going to ask them, maybe the deputy to, the chief to answer that question, if you don't mind.
So when grants are released through the province, all police services in the province have access to the funds available for these projects. So all I can say is that for the $3.7 million in total, our project teams look at the funding, make requests based on the needs here in York Region, and then the province, as a result, dedicates the appropriate dollar allocation to each police service based on its needs. So the money that we've requested in terms of the 2.4 for bail, for argument's sake, was us doing our due diligence to create this project-wide approach to dealing with bail here in York Region. So then, as a result of our request to the ministry, the dissemination to YRP was $2.4 million to address all of the specific pieces that I talked high level in generality about some of the areas we're going to address, but there's a lot of detail in there around what we're going to do with bail, and that will be addressed by this $2.4 million, for argument's sake, just on the bail piece.
Okay, so and lastly, does that then speak to this is where York Regional Police feels they've got the biggest problem? Because that's obviously the biggest proportion of this grant goes to bail compliance and things like that. So as a force, that's where you see you've got a huge problem in servicing the community?
Well, I mean, all one has to do is look around the GTA and see where the greatest problems are, and bail is a big problem here in the country, not just here in York Region. We've seen way too many officers lose their lives at the hands of violent repeat offenders in the past year, and as you've seen through the federal government and the provincial government and police services across the country, as well as the Ontario Association of Chiefs, which I'm currently the president of, we've made a real push on addressing this gap in how offenders are managed appropriately out in the community. It's had a significant impact on all of our communities. It's had a significant impact on policing in general. And so do I see, in terms of the $3.7 million, this as a priority? Absolutely, it's a priority. Anything else? Okay. If you have any specific questions for anyone else, as we said earlier, we do have some subject matter experts here to talk specifically about any of the projects. By all means, you can speak with the deputies or anyone else that's here. I want to thank everybody for being here today, and once again thank our government officials for dedicating these resources, which I know will help keep all of our communities safe. Thank you so much.